Hey guys, what's going on? Andrew coming at you. I thought this one would be fun to try something new. I understand it's not going to interest everybody, but I thought I would share with you what I've been reading this month, some things that are on my mind, some things I've checked out this month as kind of a highlight. And I can also show you some things I've picked up this month as well, books to read and things like that. I understand this isn't going to interest everybody, but if you like this one, if you're interested, feel free to give me a like. Personally, I like kind of following other YouTubers to get suggestions for TV shows, movies, and books as well. And I've kind of been going into a reading phase and trying to challenge myself more this year to read more because I believe reading is such a valuable way to learn and just overall just benefits us so much. So I'm going to go, with all that said, I'm going to go into the first book. And the first book I read was Teach Like Your Hair's on Fire with Raphael Esquith. And this was an interesting one. As many of you may know, I work in education, and this is the first book I really kind of read on the title of education that wasn't a book I had to read like in university or anything like that. And Rafi, he's a teacher at an inner city, not anymore, but he's a teacher at an inner city school in California at an elementary school, and he works with a lot of challenging kids in a difficult area. And what I really like, and he has a lot of success, and what I liked about how he taught is, and his philosophy, kind of, I agree with in a lot of ways, which is everything is a learning opportunity. I think part of being in education, a teacher, or just anybody, like think about anybody can be a teacher, right? Anybody can teach, but every day, every time you're doing something is a learning opportunity for you. And so when he would do sports or baseball, not only are they learning the team sports, they're learning how not to be afraid of the ball, they're learning how to work together, but they're also learning the importance of putting their equipment away together and being organized. All these things together are very valuable tools, and that's just something I really enjoyed from the book. It gave me a little bit of inspiration as well, and it might be something I try to do a little bit more in with reading, is maybe pick up a couple books on education over time and move forward. So this is kind of, I guess, my nonfiction kind of book information that I read this month. This next one, I'm super excited that I finished this book. I technically started reading it in November, but I finally finished it. And one of the main reasons I didn't watch so much TV or movies is because I was just trying to get through this book because it was a challenge. And I finally read Stephen King's The Stand. This is a massive, massive book, as you can see here. I think it's a 25 pages, 1,325 pages. A massive, massive book. What can I say about this book? It was incredible. I read that it was Stephen King's one of his best works, so I went ahead and read it. It was just incredible. The way he wrote all his characters out was really kind of fun. If you've never read King before, and this is my third book by King, just the way he describes things awesome. I like The Walking Dead, and I like anything that's post-apocalyptic. Basically, a virus wipes out the whole planet, and life has to rebuild. That's kind of what I'll go into, and there's like kind of a battle between good and evil. But the world was just so massively built. There was awesome characters, just everything about the characters, how they thought. This book proved to me that I think that still reading might be the best form. I think that reading has a benefit over even television, because right now television's better than movies simply because you can learn more about characters. But with books, and Stephen King shows this so well, you're inside a lot of these characters' heads, so you even get more information than you could in any other way. So I went ahead, love this book. This one I highly, highly, highly can recommend. Maybe it's a book you can read in the summertime as well. I don't know if I'll put links to the books below. Probably another time, because I got to set up an Amazon affiliate link. So that's the book. The third book I'm reading, so I finished those two. Sometimes I read a book, don't finish it, and then have to finish it in a month or two. So with this reading challenge, I'm reading a book now. I haven't finished it. Maybe I finish it this month or next month, but I will definitely finish it. I'll go into more detail, but it was Dada and Goliath. This book is by Bruce, I think it's Shiner. I'm really bad with like author pronunciation names. It was a New York Times bestseller, Dada and Goliath, and it has a lot to do with how your data is being collected on Facebook, cell phones in general, and how the information's, how some things have like loopholes in them so that they can kind of spy on us. Very interesting book. It got me thinking in a weird way. There's a security problem now. Maybe a lot of you have been following it. It's with, it was with all phones. It was like phones, computers. It has to do with a chip I forget the name of it, but basically there's a huge vulnerability with all computer chips. Someone can write it in the comments below. And it really, after reading this book, which I haven't finished yet, it really got me thinking more and more about, basically, did they do this on purpose? Like, did all phones have this kind of back door in it just so all, like, this NSA or all the governments could spy on everybody? Do they just go ahead and put some of these in there? It just gets my mind thinking more and more in this direction. I do believe there's a right to privacy, and I'm sure a lot of you have started to see it. I'm convinced at this point, which now I'm not trying to like have a tinfoil hat or anything, but I'm convinced at this point that cell phones and iPads, because if you say okay Google or okay Siri or hey Siri, it automatically, the phones pick that up. I'm convinced now that Siri and Google phones are listening to us all the time and then suggesting advertisements. I'm not saying it's necessarily malicious, but how many of us now we were talking to a friend, maybe you're talking about yoga, maybe you're talking about, I don't know, a book or something you're interested in, and then no joke, on your Facebook feed, that pops up. There's a few times that's happened to me, where I didn't even look online for it. I just mentioned it, and then it pops up in my feed. So it actually goes in the book how it does watch what we research on Google and show advertisements. And now I'm convinced that the phones are listening to us at all times and doing that. Anyways, it's an interesting book. It gets your mind thinking about how much information we give up on Facebook and the right to privacy, because we all have it. And the last chapter I haven't finished yet, it kind of goes into suggestions on how to move forward after the Snowden leaks. How do we move forward? How do we have privacy on the internet and do it the right way? How do we have security, but at the same time, how to, protecting ourselves, protecting our information. And you don't have to have anything to want to hide to deserve the right to privacy. That's just a part of being a human. So, very interesting book. Now I'm going to go into two books I picked up this month that I'm probably going to read this month, so I can talk about it more the next time. The first one is, I'm not as big of a fan of the Walking Dead television show right now. I just don't like the direction it's going in. But who knows? They could surprise me. But I went ahead and I started reading this a while ago. But I finally wanted to go ahead and get the book. So I'm reading the first compendium of The Walking Dead. I got this one. I'm counting this as a book because it's like 1,000 pages. And I'm about halfway through. I can give you kind of a review the other time. But this is a pickup I got. I want to read the 3 compendiums and then kind of get caught up in The Walking Dead. Because I'm trying to find, as you can see in my reading list, a blend of different things. Maybe I find an author or two I like, but I want to throw some like self-help and some books with information on top of that. Although it's a little bit like that book on Down and Goliath is an awesome book. Sometimes it's a little bit hard to just take in that information, but I thought it'd be fun to check out, so that's what I went ahead and did. Finally, I got Stephen King's End of Watch, which is the third. This will be my 4th Stephen King book I'm reading now in the course of about a year and a half. So as you can see, he's starting to become one of my new favorite authors. But this is from the Bill Hodges trilogy, which is like a detective series. And actually, my first book was the second book from the trilogy. I didn't know it was a trilogy. And that's Mr. Mercedes, Finders Keepers, and now this one, End of Watch. I wanted to go ahead and get this one because after that massive Stephen King book, this is only 300 pages, and it would be the first time I think I've ever read a trilogy of books. So that's the book that I've got here. So these are my pickups. I'll go into more detail, maybe of these two another time, and I don't always have to have like a longer video. But for me, I thought it'd be fun just to kind of share with you stuff I'm reading, things I'm checking out, and go from there. So if you like this one, feel free to give me a like. You'll have to probably Google these, and sometime if I set up my Amazon affiliate account, I can do that later on, where I can suggest the book, so you can click the links below. I'm going to go ahead and do that. For right now, this is just something that I kind of am into, and I thought was fun. So feel free to give me feedback, though, if you like this one, if you don't like this one. I hope you enjoyed it, at least got some value out of it. Like, maybe you don't read those books, but you can take away some things that I found that were interesting with it. But maybe you can get inspired to read a little bit more or get a reading challenge. I recommend Goodreads. I'm not affiliated or sponsored by them, but I think it's fun as a fun way to go ahead and track your progress with your books. I think it can be a really good thing. I have noticed I've been much happier since I've been reading and really interested. And I think the suggestion I can give for a reading plan or program, at least what I've been doing, is try to have a wide range of books. And what I do is try to pick up 3 or 4 books, basically when I get like paid or whatever, I'll pick up a couple books and just have them getting mailed to me at separate times. So it's not like a big, I don't know, it's not like a big planned thing. I just try to have many different books here because you don't know what you're going to read when you want to read it. But anyways, guys, hope you enjoyed this one. If you did, give me a thumbs up. If you're new to the channel, would love to have you subscribe. I usually talk about Sweden or just things in my general life, but I thought this would be a nice one. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Take care.